sky slowly deepened into rich shades of blue as a group of old friends gathered on a small country porch. A fire was already crackling in a carefully arranged stone circle, scattering dancing reflections of golden light across the freshly mowed yard. The warm summer air was thick with the fragrance of blooming lilies, honeysuckle, and the faint scent of pine carried from the nearby woods. Anna, the hostess, a petite woman with lively brown eyes and a gentle, welcoming smile, bustled around the table, setting out plates with homemade snacks, fragrant berry pies still warm from the oven, pickled cucumbers, slices of cheese, and fresh bread. Her short chestnut hair was carelessly pinned up, strands slipping free to frame her sun-kissed face. A light shawl rested on her shoulders. The evenings in late summer were growing noticeably cooler. "Mikhail, darling, throw on some more wood, would you?" she called to her husband, who was lounging in a weathered wicker chair, lazily swirling a glass of homemade cherry wine. Mikhail, a tall man with graying dark hair, laugh lines etched deeply around his kind eyes, grunted good-naturedly and rose. He stretched his broad shoulders before making his way toward the neatly stacked wood pile. The fire sputtered as he tossed on a few more logs, the flames eagerly licking upward, casting longer shadows across the lawn. Their friends were gathered in a semicircle around the fire. Sergei and his wife, Marina, an inseparable couple they'd known since their carefree university days. Oleg and Natasha, new residents of their sleepy village, along with their bright-eyed teenage daughter, Katya. Adding a special charm to the group was Elena Petrovna, a retired literature teacher who lived next door. Her silver-gray hair was pinned up in a tidy bun, and mischievous sparks danced in her eyes behind her thin-framed glasses. "You know," Elena Petrovna began, adjusting her glasses with a slow, deliberate gesture that immediately commanded attention. "Evenings like this always seem to summon old memories and remarkable stories, especially the ones that have their roots right here in our own little village." Katya, her long blonde braid glinting in the firelight, immediately leaned forward, her face full of eager curiosity. "Please tell us. I love stories." Elena Petrovna smiled, taking in the eager faces lit by the fire's glow. "Well then, let me tell you about something that happened about 30 years ago, when I had just moved here. Back then," she explained, "where new houses and paved roads now stood, there had once been a vast apple orchard stretching as far as the eye could see. It belonged to Vasily Stepanovich, a retired agronomist, a man of science and soil, who lived there with his young wife, Vera. Vasily Stepanovich was decades older than Vera, a difference that the villagers often whispered about behind cupped hands. Yet those who truly observed them could see the unmistakable bond that connected the two, a love built not on appearances or convenience, but on deep, unwavering devotion. Every morning, Vasily would walk through the orchard at first light, carefully selecting the ripest apples, polished to a shine, to leave by Vera's bedside. He filled their home with the scent of wildflowers he picked on his strolls, and his every gesture was a silent poem dedicated to her happiness. Vera, with her statuesque beauty, long black hair cascading like a silken river, her sky-blue eyes clear and wide, never once showed anything but genuine affection for her husband. She tended to him as carefully as he tended to his orchard, fussing over his meals, listening to his endless stories about grafting techniques and soil conditions, laughing brightly at his old jokes. his former robust self. Yet Vera never left his side. She brewed him teas from secret blends of herbs, read poetry aloud to him by candlelight, and simply sat there, holding his hand through long, restless nights. "You know," Vasily whispered one night, his voice rough with emotion, "I was always afraid you'd regret marrying me, that you'd wish for someone younger, stronger." Vera gently pressed her finger to his lips to silence him. "Foolish one, love isn't measured in years or strength. It's measured by the way your heart beats when you see a smile, by the peace that fills you when your hand finds another's in the dark. Through the seasons, winter's harsh silence, spring's tentative rebirth, Vasily recovered, and the orchard bloomed more lushly than ever, as if the trees themselves rejoiced. People came not only for the apples, but to catch glimpses of the couple strolling arm in arm under the blossoms, laughing and sharing secrets like love-struck teenagers. Elena Petrovna's voice grew soft as she finished the story, the firelight flickering in her glasses. Marina discreetly wiped a tear from her cheek with the cheek